The newly minted Republican Speaker of the House, Representative Mike Johnson, seems to have a bit of a memory problem. Following his election, many of Johnson's hateful statements about gay people have come to light. But in a new interview, Johnson insists, those things? I don't even really remember some of that stuff, you know?
You have been getting hammered on this.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about it. I want to know exactly, where you stand. Some of these comments were 15 years ago.
I don't even remember some of them. I was a litigator that was called upon to defend the state marriage amendments. If you remember back in the early 2000s, I think it was over 35 states, somewhere in that number, that the people went to the ballot in their respective states and they amended their state constitutions to say marriage is one man, one woman. Well, I was a religious liberty defense lawyer and I was called to go in and defend those cases in the courts. Let me state this very clearly, and there's been questions about this. Let me say where I am. Anybody that knows me will tell you this is true. I am a rule of law guy. I made a career defending the rule of law. I respect the rule of law. When the Supreme Court issued the Obergefell opinion, that became the law of the land, okay? I respect the rule of law, but I also genuinely love all people, regardless of their lifestyle choices. This is not about the people themselves. I am a Bible-believing Christian. Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview. That's what I believe. And so
That's your personal worldview.
My personal worldview.
I love all people. I love all people. I just, dedicated my life's work into making sure that they don't have any rights. I mean, it's not about the people themselves. Oh, no. Except that you want to criminalize their very existence. I don't know. To me, it kind of sounds like it's about the people. And by the way, he also said, lifestyle choice. No, it's not a choice. Being gay is not a choice. Okay. And finally, I love the excuse here of, I'm a rule of law kind of guy. You know what I mean? Oh, really? Looking at your editorials from the early 2000s, I'd say it's more, a lot more than just being, rule of law. And in fact, you're essentially wanting to make your personal worldview, which you admitted, that is your personal worldview, and that's okay. You can have that personal worldview, fine. But you're trying to make your personal worldview law of the land. And your personal worldview is, and I'm going to share with you this, that homosexuality is, quote unquote, inherently unnatural, and said that it should be banned because it would doom America, and equated, of course, homosexuality with pedophilia. As if there's any sort of equivalence between those two things. There is not. But they made this argument back then about gay people. Now they're using it against trans people. It was BS back then. It's BS now. Additionally, in 2003, Johnson had advocated for the criminalization of gay sex, or just what I like to call it, sex. That's it. Writing in a Louisiana newspaper that there is, quote, clearly no right to sodomy in the Constitution. Okay, the Constitution, it is actually more of like what rights the government has. Now, of course, there is the Bill of Rights, which again shows what the government cannot do, what rights the government cannot infringe upon. Okay, so now elsewhere in the column, he claimed that the right of privacy in the home has never placed all activity within the home outside the bounds of criminal law. And he uses that, of course, in order to say that, hey, if you're doing a sex act with another consenting adult that I don't happen to personally like, I think you should be criminalized for it. I think you should possibly go to prison for that act. Again, with another consenting adult. Look, the rule of law defense, it's the same defense that people used to defend slavery, okay? To defend the horrible acts committed against Black Americans under slavery. Just because it is a law, it is a rule of law that you can have slavery, does not mean it's a good thing, okay? Look, not only are all these anti-gay laws just anti-freedom, that's what it is. It's bigotry, it's anti-freedom, it's antithetical to the idea of freedom and personal choice. And so they're not popular. Okay, these laws, very unpopular. 71% of Americans think same-sex marriage should remain legal. Yeah, that's right. There are only two groups of voters here where this is not a majority opinion, and that's among Republican voters and people who go to church weekly. So that's who this guy is appealing to. That is why he's specifically saying these things instead of outright denouncing his old articles. If he, since he is getting, as Handy puts it, hammered. Yeah, he's getting hammered on these. And that's because they're horrible things to say about gay people. Yeah, of course. So he's not denouncing the old articles. Just saying, those things. 15 years ago, I don't remember. I don't remember all the horrible, hateful things I said. There's just so much, right? But I love all people. I love all people. No, the reason he's doing that is because he still believes it. He just doesn't want to say it. He can't really say it out loud anymore. It's the old wink and nod. Oh, me, I don't remember, And then makes this case that he was out there fighting for these positions to, again, criminalize what consenting adults are doing in their own homes. That's what it is. Now, Republicans will see this as a bonus. They'll be like, oh, yeah, great. Yeah, you went out there and you fought the good fight. That's right. Look, it's very clear in my mind that Mike Johnson is out there playing cutesy games with his language, okay? That's his defense. He thinks that's probably going to help him in the long run with the Republican Party the way that it is. It probably will. But it's not going to help with people who are not Republicans. It's not going to help with moderates. It's not going to help with the majority of the population that thinks that his views are not just, archaic, but incredibly discriminatory and anti-freedom.